Okay, I'm going to say it again. So, nowhere in my entire life has my features been lighter than when I was a baby and a toddler. And I will repeat myself, since the organizations that said they were going to rally around friends and family and started breaking privacy laws, confidentiality, and prying laws, which you can only look at my mother, who started involving people. And what they were saying was, oh, he's had a brain injury, he doesn't remember. I'm sick of those lies. I haven't had a brain injury. There was no traumatic brain injury. I've made this very clear. In 2007, so when I was mugged and robbed after work, November 30th, 2007, there was no traumatic brain injury. It was a Glasgow Coma Scale 13. That's not a traumatic brain injury. I was hit on the back of the head, knocked out unconscious, woke up in hospital that day, no issues. The issues were caused after people tried to make out issues, because there was a lot of people looking at my misfortune event, which I'll tell you now, if my mother didn't try to scam, don't say you didn't, Carol Purdy, but you did. As soon as I was mugged after work, my mother's like, he has to move here now. I'm like, no, I'm not moving. I'm just going to recover and go back to work. So this is what caused the problem. It was everybody's little scam on top of my misfortune event. That's what I said. I'm not going to stand back and let even a magistrate fucking lie about me. I'm like, sorry, this is where I can't stand the Labor government. Because, and here's the thing, I got mugged right when the Labor government was taken over again. The Liberal government wouldn't allow it. Labor definitely. Because what happens is you get all these organisations, groups, social workers. It's socialism, communist. I can't stand how Australia is, this socialist type bullshit. Because these governments, they just throw money at organisations. And look what happened with Julia Gillard. Look at what happened in the schools. Like, are people blind? Do you just forget what happens in the past, in history? Or that's exactly what the left want people to do, right? Forget it. Let go and move on. No, sorry. You hang on to the past so you don't repeat it. That's why you hang on to the past. Okay? So again, think of back. Look back. What did Kevin Rudd do? What did Julia Gillard do? What do you think Anthony Albanese is going to do? So don't ever vote those types of people in. Okay. Throw money at organisations. What do those organisations need to do? Build up people on their books so they get money from the government. I've been one of these people. I'm sitting back saying I've not done anything except tell the truth. You disability workers, you support workers, you social workers, and then they turn it back on me, you volunteers, because don't tell me you don't get anything. It's always about the organisations. You've just used continuous, tactics towards me for years to keep me basically, but we can say Justin, we can say, it's like, no, you can't. I'm so sick and tired of not being the one that actually gets hurt. This is my life. I can speak for myself, thanks. It's like even when a magistrate said, you've got mental health issues surrounding being mugged after work and going back to the casino. I'm like, no, I don't. Here's the thing that's been going on for years. No, I don't. And this is where it's financially disadvantaged to me, which is what you were doing, even the magistrate. You're committing fraud, whether you like it or not, by making up a bullshit story, preventing me from advancing in my career path, because I was working towards to be an executive host. You've cut me off of my finances. This is so communist and socialist, making me broke and reliant. So you've done this deliberately, and then you've got organisations on top of that are making money from it. Oh, we can get money by putting more people in the books because the government throws money at disability. Oh, now it's throwing money at mental health. So we've got to build up, everyone's got mental health issues. Because if we build up that everyone's got mental health issues, look at all the taxpayers' dollars that go towards it, and we can make money from it. We can work in mental health. I can go and get a social work degree and work in mental health and so forth. Okay? That's what it is. Now, I'm going to pin that and talk about that at something else, because that's not what I want to talk about here, but that's a fact. The fact is that I've been lied about. My misfortune events have been used for somebody else's own benefit and gain. That is fraud. I guess we're not going to see anything happen about that until we get a new government. Because why you've got these ridiculous woke leftists, socialists, communist, libertarian people in the country's always going to behave like it's a criminal country. And people who run the country, magistrates, law enforcement and so forth, are criminals. It's always the same. Look at that laughing hyena Kevin Rudd, who I can't stand, or that Julia Gillard, or look at the same thing with this Anthony Albanese. Who in their right mind would vote Anthony Albanese in? Are you insane? What is with you people? You don't vote Labor. The same as you don't vote Democrats. It's a rule of thumb. You don't. It's the same repeat over and over again every time these people get in. So that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is where people started making up stories that I dyed my hair black to look like somebody, whatever. My features, my pubic hair, my eyebrows and so forth are black. I used to have a complete one black eyebrow. Since I was 10, I have plucked it. Okay, actually, going back before I was 10. Even had it waxed off with duct tape. When I was 10, I had a complete monobrow. So I used to thin it out. So if there's any photos of me where you can see this thin line, it's like pencil, that's because I used to sit there. It was a zigzagged plucker. I can even show you exactly what it looked like. Here we go. It was this zig. That's what it looked like. I'll quickly just show you. It had this sort of pinching thing on it. It was like really old school. And I used to sit there, actually, I was before I was 10 because it was still in Rudy Hill, back in Dunsmore Street, and pluck my eyebrows thinner and to have two of them. Okay? Since I've gotten older, I've had them waxed several times and lasered. Okay? I had the features of my dad's father. You can see once I grew up from being a toddler. So when I was a baby, I was blonde features, okay? But I was a baby. When I was a toddler running around on the Central Coast, like this photo of Amanda and myself, two blonde babies, yes. But I was 3 years of age before I started school, 3 or 4 years of age. As soon as I started school and I started, as you're developing, the older I got, so my hair, the baby hair started growing out, that, sort of thin baby hair, and my hair was black for it. There's photos of me when I'm a kid, even at St. Aidan's. My school photo at St. Aidan's in 1989, my hair is jet black. My features have always been dark brown, near black. That's what my natural hair color is. And I don't know why people would bring it up to be anything else except for the ones that identified me as somebody else. Both of my grandfathers have jet black hair. One of them, which is Reginald George Purdy. So Reginald George Purdy was blonde. His hair went black and then grey. Stanley Fleming, which is my dad's father. Stanley Fleming had jet black hair, frizzy jet black hair to the day he died. I'm going to grab features on both sides of my family. Okay, my grandfather Stanley Fleming had dark skin. He did. It's even there on documents. Okay, so if I go out in the sun, my skin goes dark. It does. I haven't been in sunlight since really much sun since 2014. But there's photos of me even in my my passport photo back in 2011, and it was December. My face was so dark because I'd been in the beach the whole time. So my skin's naturally, and I don't give a shit. Immigration are fucking wankers. It's like, seriously? Like, these are my natural features. The only time so I've just got rid of, the under my lip here, and I've shaved most of it. I'm getting grey, which you'll see here. When this is grey, it lets my whole face down. So if I remove this one spot here, my entire face highlights. You wouldn't believe it. And it does. So this is the only bit I've ever touched up here, right there. The only other things that caused my with the issues with my skin. So I'm covered in Vaseline right now. Great little trick for body butter. I'm just going to pin what I just talked about. A little trick for body butter. Get a cologne. Melt your Vaseline. Get a cologne. Spray in your Vaseline. Mix it around, let it set, and then you've got a beautiful smelling body butter. However, I wouldn't go out with it because you will sweat and so forth, but it's good before you go to bed and keeps your skin soft. Anyway, there we go. So if I put Vaseline, gel, oil, so I've always used, things like Brylcreem, creams, gels, and so forth, hairsprays. My hair's going to look darker because it's got product in it. Anyway, that's just a fact. When you put gel in your hair, it looks a bit darker than the actual shade that it is. Okay, so if I'm wearing a lot of beard oils and stuff, it's going to be a bit darker, but it is naturally dark brown near black. That's my natural features. I look like this. I like people go, oh, he tries. People have, and I'm going to use people as and I have when I have certain other people come up to me and say, what people? I'm like, everyone. From Sam Delati to all these other idiots around that have in my life who go, oh, he just tries to look like this. I'm like, I don't try to look like anything. I look the way I look like. Let me grab a photo of my dad's father again. I've always, and even my cousins on dad's side, it's like, okay, you didn't grow up with me. So, oh, here we go. A bit more light there. There's dad's father. Oh, I'm not going to get out of the sleeve. I've got to go back here. Dad's father, Stanley Fleming. This is where it comes from. I'm so sick of it. But dad's side is one of the ones that started this as well. So why would you start it when you know that we've got darkness through dad's side? There's dad's parents there. That's Stanley and Ruth Fleming. Like you look at it, it's like, why would you carry on like this? It's like my hair is that's a black and white photo, so it's not the best. That's I'm not going to keep doing this, but it's, Stanley and Aunt Sandra, Dad. Oh, hang on. Yeah, Dad, Linda. But so anyway, I'm not going to keep going over and over this. Look, I think it's ridiculous because the reason why this was said was, personality disorder because he tries to look Lebanese or Italian or so forth. I'm like, okay, and let me stop right there and say, photos of my family members are in the last. This is why I keep telling Dad, so can you help, please? They thought I was joking. I swear to God. But I've said, yeah, I've had people look at photos of Aunt Sandra and say she's Greek. How is that your dad's auntie? She doesn't look like a Sandra Johnson. I'm like, well, she's actually a Sandra Fleming, like Dad Mark Fleming's older sister, Sandra Fleming. It's like, yeah, she does look like she's Greek. That's what we've always said. That's what I said. Like, they look ethnic. Not saying she is Greek, but we've sat back in our family and say, well, because Stanley Fleming's an orphan, but he had the name Stanley Fleming. He wasn't adopted, so don't say he was adopted. He was an orphan raised by Edith Kavanagh. Edith Kavanagh didn't adopt him, okay? She raised him. So, my pop, Stanley Fleming, was an orphan. He's the one that we sit back and say, yeah, he looks Italian, looks Greek, looks Maltese, looks Lebanese. I look at him and say, looks more Lebanese. And then when you look at the Greek, look at Sandra, like that's everything. Shane Johnson. He looks like it. So you've got Shane Johnson photos of him when he's younger. It's like, oh, that doesn't look like a Shane Johnson. That looks like a Luigi. I'm like, yeah, exactly. But that is Shane Johnson. Like, this is the thing. The way we look don't match our names. But I've said this my entire life. Stop asking my mother. You're making up, like, these has been made into something that it's not. Basically. And by people like even Stephanie DeSalis, who stalked my social media. So we're not friends. She stalked my social media. So these people have made up these stories. Okay. And they'll look at things and it's like, well, okay, for an example, Christy Saruni, which is Auntie Linda and Uncle Tony Pincham's daughter. She does look Lebanese, but her husband's Lebanese. But Christy looks Lebanese because she throws back Stanley Fleming, her grandfather, her pop, my pop. Meredith Williams, who, her mother is my dad's older sister, Sharon Fleming, who married a Williams. So Meredith Williams doesn't look like a Williams. Meredith even said her own self she gets North Italian a lot, because she does. She goes nice and dark and so forth as well. They do. Her sisters, her brother looks German. Jeffrey Williams looks German. They all have this ethnic look throughout my family, and it just throws back. It's not a big deal. It throws back through grandparents. But it's been made into a big deal with me, and I'm sitting back going, well, it would have been made into a big deal if you see me around my dad's side, because we don't do it deliberately. We all look different. My cousin Jeffrey looks like he's German. I look the way I look like. I don't do it deliberately. At the moment, I just use a tune-in shampoo to cover up some grey flickers at the moment. But and I'm sorry, this hairdresser Belinda Jeffries is one that started this too, and all this come about because I'm circling back around to what I said in the beginning. An organisation that was like, we're going to rally around friends and family, and since 2015, I've had people contact me as if they knew me. Okay, so I was getting somewhere with this. Okay. And my mother turns around, so they don't know me. My mother turns around and goes, oh, he just doesn't remember you. I was like, no, Carol, they're not describing me. I've had this person describe your nephew, Shane Childs. Exactly. So these group of people know Shane Childs. They know your sister, Robin Childs, because they've described Shane Childs' lifestyle, how he grew up, okay, plus his features, plus even like down to the fact that he drove a ute, used to go hunting with your brother, Denny. He was involved in pig hunting, shooting wildlife, collecting reptiles and snakes. He was a really blonde, sort of mousy brown guy growing up, dragged up, where he was dragged up by your sister and drove a ute and so forth, and he's from Bathurst. So we're talking about somebody here that is your nephew, not your son. That other person has just described your stepson, Daniel Rackley, exactly. So they've described Daniel Rackley, and I think the Rackleys are creep. The Rackleys are redheads. The Rackleys, oh, look, Daniel Rackley's a weirdo. I'm sorry, he's a fucking weirdo. His father never had black hair. His father has reddish brown hair. The reddish brown hair is a common trade for Rackleys so Mark Rackley's mother, I remember, what was her name? Val Rackley. Val Rackley had reddish brown hair. Don Rackley, Mark Rackley's father, was bald. So you can see that Mark Rackley was going to be bald, and you can see that Daniel Rackley is going to be bald. They have that hereditary. My side of the family, I'm not related to Rackley, so I've had people from Tamworth go, "Oh, I should be bored like my father." I'm like, "Well, my father's not bored, because Mark Fleming's my father and Stanley Fleming is my grandfather, and they both have. Well, Stanley Fleming had thick hair, even though Mark Fleming's hair comes more from his mother." So I'm not going to be bored because Mark Rackley is not my father. Mark Rackley never had black hair. Mark Rackley had reddish brown hair. Daniel Rackley had reddish brown hair. Faith Rackley had reddish brown hair. The reddish hair comes from the Rackleys, but I'm not related, and I have said this so many times. I share no DNA with the Rackleys. None at all. I'm not related. That's my mother's second husband's family. So there's that. Then I had people from Tamworth, even Aboriginal. So this is all this whole rallying around stuff when they were trying to find out what my background was like. I was involved in the musicals and so forth. Next minute, I've got information that related to Darren Taylor. So Darren Taylor, I was like, oh yeah, I remember, because I'm getting this description where since 2015, where people are like, this whole ruddy bullshit. Oh, you used to be this person. I'm like, no, but wow, you've just described Darren Taylor. That's exactly what happened. It's like, you're talking about, so he used to hang around with Jess Rowling. I know Jess Blackmore. They used to talk, so you describe someone that went to Oxley High. He hung around Beth Rowling or Beth Blackmore, Jess Rowling, just like, when you're in your teens, you sort of hear all the rumors and gossips that go right through, the musical and entertainment society, because it's small gossipy circle, and I'm like, oh my god, you just described things that Darren Taylor did, and this was spoken to me. It's like, oh my god, I remember this rumor when Darren and Jess, Jess Rowling, Blackmore, whatever this abo called himself, and Darren Taylor. You've just described exactly the mischief they used to get up to. This was going right around the Retreat Theatre, the Music Society, the Entertainment Society. I know exactly who you're talking about. But you've just described Darren Taylor. He used to live with his grandfather. It's just a bit of a, yeah. So, but you have described this person. So, no, you don't know me because you've just described Darren Taylor. And next was Justin Pascoe. Now, this was simple. So apparently what happened was when Brett Aikenhead, this loser, started putting Facebook, this is all through social media, and I'm like, yeah, well, I don't take information from social media. If I want any information about somebody, I'm not going to get it from social media. Something that government departments might want to start realizing, that you get things very wrong through social media. It is only social media. Get your facts from the horse's mouth. So, the guy I brought my dog from, which is this weird guy, Brett Aikenhead, who doesn't know me. He does not know me. I just brought my dog from him and stupidly had sex with the guy. Like, as an affair. He doesn't know me, I don't know him. I wouldn't go out with someone like that. So he started putting posts across my wall, and he's like, oh, we look like brothers. Ew, gross. No, we don't. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh. Anyway, I couldn't control. I don't care. Fine, you posted something on my wall. He gives a shit. It's on your social media. That's it. No, we do not. Anyway, people from Tamworth jumped onto it and thought, so he was my brother or something. And the next minute, I had people who actually knew Justin Pascoe. This is the fact. So Justin Pascoe went to the same high school as me. He was this, and they described his lifestyle. And I'm like, well, no, but I know who you're talking about because you keep saying, so because I've said, yes, I had a stepbrother that was in Tamworth as well, Daniel Rackley. Instantly they were like, oh, you had a brother at your school. I'm like, no, I never had a brother at my school. No. But you said someone was your brother and you went to cadets. I'm like, I've never gone to Army cadets, no. And I've never said anyone was my brother at school. But you were describing Justin Pascoe, who did have a brother at our high school. He's older than me, Justin Pascoe, and he did go to cadets. And I remember this because he actually used to wear his cadet unit. He stunk. Oh, God. I think he was from a rural low-life housing family. He had bad hygiene. He was a bit of a weirdo. I remember he was this really weird guy because this was described from Rosebery College in Tamworth and other people up there. You just described a guy that, like, so I remember this guy used to walk through the corridors in an army cadets, like a military, like uniform. Justin Pascoe. He had really bad hygiene. His brother was at the school there as well. He did sing Phantom of the Opera at the school assembly. He was in the same. He was like I was in a musical that he was in as well. He was like a blondish sort of sandy brown, but it was weird. I remember in 1992, I think, or 1993, he was doing a pizza party. It was a pizza party, like the flyers were up around school, and that's who they were talking about. This Justin Pascoe. But yeah, so it was weird because it was like, oh yeah, because so this is gathering of information about other people, and then these idiots are like, oh no, that's you. I'm like, yeah, that's not me. You do, but I know who you've described, and this is really weird. So basically, you're profiling me as somebody else. Thanks for that. So defamation of character, slander. Thanks, guys. So if you want information about me, you can get it from me. But this has gone on for 9 years. This is why I'm not backing down. Here is 4 people I can give you examples of where my mother stood back like a fool. Like I look at Carol, I'm like, you're just going to embarrass yourself because I'm not going to back down. You're embarrassing yourself, Carol. Like you look like an idiot. Oh, they knew him. No, that person has just described Shane Childs. Oh, wait, some farmer contacted me through social media. Some guy he drives, he's a gay guy, freaking earring in his freaking nose or lip or something, like just a weirdo. Was riding a quad bike on a big property, goes pig hunting. Contacted me through social media and said, where did I come out that I was gay? And I was like, well, I've always been out gay, but officially 1992. And he goes, no, I remember when you were riding at rodeos and you had all your girlfriends. I'm like, I've never ridden at a rodeo, and I never had a girlfriend. I've always been gay. This guy was arguing the fact with me. I'm like, no, but you've just described my mum's nephew, Shane Childs. Yeah. So that's how much this has gone on. And that's back in 2016 that happened. So some little fat freaking farming cowboy weirdo on a quad bike on his Facebook post contacted me through social media and said that he knew me, but he didn't. He actually knew Shane Childs, my mum's nephew, Robin Childs' son. That's happened so much since 2015, so much where even women have said like they knew me, they dated me, whatever. It's like, I've never had sex with a female. So, besides having a female crack onto me and try to, it's like, sorry, I'm gay. Excuse me, stop bumping and grinding. Thank you very much. You're not going to get anywhere. I've always been gay. So, yeah, like seriously, the persons who are straight, or you've just described, Darren Taylor, Shane Childs, Daniel Rackley, and like I said, the other one, there's Justin Pascoe as well. Yeah, that was, some weird stuff said about Justin Pascoe at school, about him rubbing up on people and stuff. I don't know. Like, look, apparently it was just this weirdo. Okay, I'm not going to say anything bad about anyone, because people say rumors and shit about people. That's like, okay, whatever. But yeah, I do remember him wearing his camouflage gear, like from his cadets to school. I do remember that. And he sung Phantom of the Opera. So a bit of a weirdo, but that's what, it's like, okay, so you've gathered information about people that's not me and you've then projected that into my life. But you do know that's defamation, so you can pay the defamation for it. Anyway, circling back around, so that's where a lot of this is coming from. And then I'm going to put where there's photos of me where my hair's lighter. Oh, of course there is. Oh my God, there's photos of me Well, I've got the most amazing highlights. I had a great hairdresser. With my beautiful long mane of hair, but I used to tie back like this at work at Star Casino so it looked short. Then finished work and let it out, and we had these long friggin' hair. It was fantastic, like exactly like I do now. But my hair is long, even though I make it look short. Doing that for years. So there's a photo of me with my partner John Cabino and Kimberly Cito and Jade Otto and Jade's cousin. Down Norton Street, and I have the most amazing highlights for my hair. Yeah, of course I do. Big chunks of foils of copper. I used to put a lot of copper in my hair. Used to look beautiful, especially when I had my tan. So copper, blonde, and chocolate brown. So I used to put a lighter brown for my hair, so that way the black looked like the black was a feature for it. But in actual fact, the feature was the copper, blonde. So I used to put big watts of foils right through it, foils and highlights, and my hair had all these like flickers of different, lighter shades because it needed a lighter shade back then. Otherwise, it was a block color. Basically, it just needed to be broken up. It was too like my natural color is dark, and I used to think it looked too dark, so I used to lighten it. Now, you could say going back throughout my life, oh, well, when did you start doing that? It's like, well, I did used to put that. There was a mousse in the bathroom sink. It was a blonding mousse. Look, it started out, I was just using it as a mousse, and then it was used to make my hair go like straw. And it started lighting it. It was like peroxide in the can. Look, I don't know. It could have been called Sunny Boy or something. I don't know. It was like, it literally was, you shake it up. I think it was orange. But it was like shake it up was mousse, like actually like you squeeze out like mousse and you put it for your hair, but it's pretty much peroxide in a can. And I used to style my hair with it and hairspray and everything else for school. Made my hair go like straw, literally. But it's peroxide in a can, basically. So I always put highlights through. I mean, my birthday in 2005, my 26th birthday. So the morning, I spent the morning having highlights, putting my hair and my hair straightened. So, because I was going out to Cafe Sydney for my birthday, I'm going to birthday lunch at Cafe Sydney. Like, here's who I am as a person. He gives you a good idea. My boyfriend back then, my partner, John Cabano, said, what do you want for your birthday? Do you want a big party? I'll invite everybody. Like, who do you want for your birthday? I was like, oh no, I just want a nice sit-down dinner with you. He said, do you want to bring any friends? And I was like, well, I just want to rather have an intimate sort of night with my partner, actually. Just enjoy the day together, like just two of us. And his friend, who I actually really liked, who, funny enough, Stephanie DeSalis got really jealous of. See, I didn't know Stephanie DeSalis, but I've met her. And there was a friend of John Cabino's called Kimberly Davis. And she's from Mossman. And I really liked her and got along well with her. And it was around that time when, this person from the coffee shop started causing trouble. Stephanie DeSalis, she turned up at John's work. So actually there's a lot of stuff like that went on with this Stephanie DeSalis, which John was warning me about her, that now I can see he was really right with her obsession over me. I didn't know. I got a coffee one day at a coffee shop and she started stalking me and I was laughing it off. And yeah, so look, Kimberly Davis, I really liked her. Fabulous lady. Like I just like-minded to myself. My partner really liked her. Like John Cabino, Kimberly Davis, they got along as friends. We had so much in common. And I remember John said, Kim really wants to come along, can she? I'm like, oh my God, yeah, of course. I was fabulous. So we just got a limo. There was the three of us. I was like, I couldn't have wished for something better for my birthday. It was the best to date. It is still the best birthday I've had in my entire life. So it was just John Cabino, John, myself, Kimberly, Kim, and myself, and we just had a funky sort of time in the limo. Went and had Cafe Sydney, Balmain Bugs, and then I wanted to finish the night off at the opera. So opera bar, and sitting down having drinks there and listening to the band. Like it was the most, and that's who I am as a person. And you couldn't have picked more as a person who I am, and have put something on for. It was like, oh. Wow, it was just such amazing. For John's birthday, you know what I did? I hired out the Sapphire Suite. Everybody who knew me back then, that's how much money I had. I hired out the Sapphire Suite, which was in King's Cross. So Sophie Rouet, Zena Rouet, Susie and Denny Rouet, they were all there. John's family, John's mother, John's brothers, everybody. I hired. He loved it. Oh, that was his birthday. Oh, his mum was over the moon. Come on. So I hired out a nightclub for my partner's birthday. And I invited all the people like he loved, and it was just a massive big party. It was great. And that's what he loved. And everyone, like even people from Mossman came along. It was fantastic. But for me, I just wanted something to sit down, and enjoy. You're right there, Baxter? And enjoy just my birthday dinner with my partner. And I was at, when Kim, a friend of John's from Mossman, was like, she really likes you, Justin. Can she come along? I'm like, oh my God, yes, I adore her. We are, how I met John Cabino, she thought I was straight. So his friend thought I was straight and was chatting me up first. And he was this is in Gowins in Oxford Street. And John's there yelling out to her going, the underwear's too tight. And oh God, I used to speak Italian so much better back then because I answered back about the Mordandi. Molto grande culo, about the molto grande culo, your big ass looks bellissimo in the Mordandi, in the tighter Mordandi, in the tight. So I've stopped using Italian since 2007. But before 2007, I used Italian a lot. And when I first, the first sentence I ever spoke was a full sentence to John Cabino in Italian, and he flung the door open, was like, he's Italian. I'm like, no, I just speak Italian, basically. And my dad's father looks Italian. Hang on, Baxter, let me do this. So basically, now, un momento, per favore, aspetta, okay? Or aspetta. He loves me, don't you? Yes, bello mio, Baxter. So back before 2007, come here. Ici, papà. Andiamo pronto. Here. Okay, I'm going to show you. While I'm finishing off my video, I'm going to show you this. He thinks he can't walk over the threshold. Okay, or he does this, so I come and go, oh, you can do it, Bax. You can do it. Come on, you can do it. Yes, you can. You can. There you go. Oh, so he does his little, to get my attention. So that's exactly how I met John Cabino. It was in Gowins. Here. And I spoke to Kim Davis first. And she thought I was chatting her up. And then John yells out about the underwear that was too tight. And I've answered back in a perfect sentence in Italian saying, he's molto grande, his culo. And see, this thing I haven't used Italian now since 2007, which is a shame. So I used to actually be able to speak Italian well enough. Sorry. Not great, but well enough to actually say full sentences where John Cabino thought, and he's flung the door open. He's like, oh, who's this guy? And then next minute we started dating. Basically, our first date would have been Gowins when I first met him. So I adored his friend. And the person who put a wedge between that was this psycho stalker, Stephanie DeSalis. And I've got to say, John Cabino was right, because he kept telling me, he's like, Justin, you're laughing this off. Don't laugh, because I was always someone that lets things go too much and was just, fuck, who cares? I was so easygoing when I was younger that I was like, she's probably just a crazy fag hag. And John's like, no, she's got delusional fantasies about you, Justin. She's stalking you. And she come to John's work. She was, started trouble, bullshit, weird crap to do with, I've done these cards and there's this person, and she was describing, I remember this too, it's like, so we're like, she's going, this person's going to cause damage in your life, and she's describing Kim Davis. I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe, Steph's a bit weird, but, so we weren't friends. I met her at a coffee shop when they get a coffee, and then she stalked me, and I just thought it was funny that I had a stalker. That's it. So anyway, so my 26th birthday, going back to it, was fantastic. And yeah, the morning of my 26th birthday, I had my hair straightened and big clumps of sort of foils and highlights for it. And that's it. So, yep, so the lies don't match the facts. You know, like I said, stop, you've got... my dog is so jealous right now that I'm talking to the video and not him. Right, there you go. You want to have a look? That's Baxter. Yes. I'm going to leave it there. Put this up on YouTube. But yeah, so as for my hair, yeah, it is naturally black. Well, dark brown near black. It looks black because it's dark brown. Pubes are black. Of course, you get older and things change. You get grey. Well, I'm going grey in my beard right here. Not my beard here. That's all. That I'll talk to you in a minute. Shithead. Yes, I'm up. Yes. Not here, thank God. Yeah, but here. The only grey I'm getting is coming through here and here. So it's actually just here. And it's like if I actually shaved all of this part off here, I won't have any grey because all this is fine all along here. The only part is here. So maybe I should just shave this bit off. So yeah, it's weird. It's so creepy. And again, this Stephanie DeSalis did the same bullshit again since 2015. I was like, holy fuck. My partner, John Cabino, used to warn me about her back when we were together. She's a fucking nut job. So this has been going on for way too long now. It's, yeah, way too long. Anyway, leave it at that because otherwise this might not upload.